Right, 2 September 2024. And today I'm going to be quickly giving you an update on this Monday. So there's a lot that has been happening in the news. And I always give you an update so that we understand what's going on around Zimbabwe. And this weekend has been special because most African presidents have arrived in China. So there is a lot of movement in China by all the African presidents of SADC, especially. And I'm talking here about President Cyril Ramaphosa, Mnangagwa, President of DRC, Tshisekedi. So there's been a lot of movement by African presidents who have arrived over there in China. And there's also a lot of movement in Zimbabwe. So forgive me as I just set up here. It's a Monday, so I tend to start a bit late on a Monday. And so we are going to see a lot of movement among the presidents of Africa and see what deals they're going to cut. The president of Zambia, President Hicilema, specifically has been well received in China. There's been a big function for President Hicilema. I do not know why there was such a big function, but he's been, the Chinese have gone all out to welcome him and to make a big deal about his arrival. So the president of Zambia has been received very well in China. There's even been some gun salutes, and there was a massive national anthem sang over there. So I don't understand why China is so interested in the president of Zambia, but they have done a very big deal about his arrival. So that is President Hicilema, very well received by the Chinese guys, and also being given special treatment on his arrival. Then I want to take you to my main story. As usual, I always start with my main story. And you are aware of what has been happening this past week. The builder of Miniyothabo Fransica Baloyi Chiwenga has been arrested. And that is Gray Holmes, Annavestah, and Gray Mudiwa. They are currently in jail, in remand prison. And they have given more detail about what happened. There are 3 transactions in which they are being accused of stealing an average of $1 million US. The total cost of the buildings was about $1.2 million US. And this transaction happened in March, June, and September 2023. So Miniyothabo was going through a massive building project or building processes. We did a lot of buildings around that time in 2023. And they're being accused of misusing 380,000 for each of the 2 projects that are worth 550,000, and totally taking all the money in the last project, which was costing 186,000 US. So these are staggering figures. We're talking here of more than 20 million rands involved in these 3 transactions. So on Friday, the builders of Chiwenga, of Miniyothabo, were appearing in court. And you can see that Annavestah here was hiding a face. And what has happened is that she has revealed more details about what happened. Firstly, she said she wasn't running away when they were arrested at beitbridge. She says there's no reason for her to run because what Miniyothabo is saying is not true, that these guys were duping them. She says she has completed 3 projects for Miniyothabo before, and so there's no need for her to run because they did not steal any money. She also says that the 3 transactions in question were affected by exchange rate issues and lack of cement. She says there was no cement and there was lack of, there was some exchange rate issues that caused them not to deliver, but they've already delivered on 3 other projects. So today they're going to be back in court and we're going to hear more details. And I believe, Kuti, there is more behind the scenes on this project. And this is going to be one of the big projects that will make a difference in what happens in the near future. I don't see this as a normal court case. Myself, I see this as the beginning of something. There is a third hand in this project. So what I call a third hand, could be something else is at play here in the project. It's this 6 projects. So what are the other 3 projects? We're going to hear more details about those 3 projects. Why were these guys able to get more projects when they were not delivering? So why is it that after they failed to deliver the first in March, the second in June, and the third in September, why were they still trusted with more projects? And why was this left to stay between now, August, in fact, September 2024 and August and September 2023, there's a full year. What happened within this whole year, which made Keno Miniyothabo not make any report? So very important, and it's important for me to note that normally such cases don't just happen. They are caused. Something else behind the scenes causes the thing to trigger. And I believe that we're going to see more drama. As I said, there's going to be more drama in ZANU-PF very, very soon. We're going to see another drama. So I'll give you guys more updates on this case as soon as I get it. And these guys are appearing in court today. That is Annavestah and Mudiwa, builders from Harare, who are currently in jail. They spend the weekend in jail and are appearing for taking money from Keno Miniyothabo Fransica Baloyi Chiwenga without building the 3 projects that they were supposed to build. But they're saying they have actually built 3 projects for her and completed. And there's therefore no need for them to be arrested and put in jail. So that is very interesting and our story for today. Now, let me take you through other stories. I want to start with CBZ. CBZ is trending right now. The CBZ Bank of Zimbabwe has appointed a Zambian Gift Simwaka as the managing director of CBZ. And I think this is a strategic move by CBZ, who are planning to move out of Zimbabwe into Africa. So CBZ has already set up a function and a merchant sort of bank in South Africa. And my belief is that they want to enter the Zambian market, which is why they've appointed Zambian Gift Simwaka as their managing director. And Gift Simwaka is extremely experienced in banking. He's coming from, I believe, Afrexim Bank. If I'm not mistaken, I'll put for you his history on gambako.com within the next few 20 minutes. He is educated outside of Zambia, mostly in the United States, and he has done a lot of work in Zambia. He's been in the banking sector of Zambia for quite a long time. So Zambian Gift Simwaka appointed as CBZ Managing Director, the biggest bank in Zimbabwe, the CBZ. And CBZ, there are Tagwire. So I do not know the game plan over there, but there is a big game plan over there at CBZ. CBZ is being run by some of the most, what I call, money-making guys. They make a lot of money, and they've had some of the best people running that bank to grow it to the size that it is became right now. They're very innovative. Some of their systems, some of the best systems, and there is a merger coming with ZB Bank. ZB Bank has actually produced their results today, and the results are on the screen here, but I am totally confused by the ZIG. I don't know what's going on. I was reading these results, and I would like to suggest that all banks have a ZIG and US dollar component on their reporting. This is crazy. When I was reading this and they was talking about 800 billion, I got confused to say, what is this in US dollars? At what exchange rate? So what happened last week, the reports that I showed you had US dollar and then ZIG. This one, I didn't see the US dollar component. Maybe I just didn't have time to read through, but it's very important for ZB Bank to produce their results and all the other banks to just put the US dollar. How much is the US dollar there? Because the amounts get crazy. Then let's look at Bulawayo City Council. So the Bulawayo City Council is in trouble. This is David Coulthard, the mayor of Bulawayo. He recently announced that they are going to be unbundling the engineering, sanitation, and also the water division of the BCC. And the residents are rejecting this move. They're saying that this is illegal. The attempt to unbundle water is illegal, and engineering, because this is not transparent. There is a Dutch company called VEY, which was given this particular assignment, and they say that this was not transparent. David Coulthard did his own thing, and they're saying that in the past, there have been efforts to privatize Ingwevu, Parks and Nursery, Caravan Park, Good Hope, and Esbley Farm. And this has not benefited the residents. This has been a total mess. That's what they're saying. And they're saying, therefore, this should not proceed. So I think David Coulthard is doing his best, but he's going to hit a brick wall because of politics. So let's see how he maneuvers David Coulthard there in Bulawayo. Then in South Africa, interesting story. Chidi Adina. There is a report which has been made, or a request for information that has been made, to say, how did Chidi Adina's mother leave the country when the police are looking for her? How was she allowed to fly out to Nigeria? Because when Chidi Adina won as Miss Universe Nigeria, her mother was standing right next to her soon afterwards. And so Action SA, one of the political parties, is asking to say, how did this get allowed, that Chidi Adina's mother would fly out of the country when she's facing an investigation over identity theft? And they're saying that this shows that the Home Affairs of South Africa is not diligent, and they therefore allowed this woman to leave the country. So if I was Chidima's mother, I would not come back to this country ever. I would just stay there in Nigeria, where people actually like me, instead of staying in South Africa, where you're going to be questioned over something that happened like 200,000 years ago. And I want to go to the PSL of Zimbabwe. Very interesting. PSL of Zimbabwe, there were serious soccer matches this weekend. And you can see that at the top there is the soccer matches that took place. So this is from H Metro newspaper. You can check out that Dynamos won, Highlanders lost, Wange won, the Manica Diamonds. I don't think this was played, this was postponed. So at the top, you now have Simba Bora with 50 points, and you've got Highlanders right there at number 4. And Dynamos is 1 match behind, which means the top 7 teams are still almost the same, with Yada right now at the middle. Yada is a team to watch because they've got Kamabila, the biggest soccer star in the Zimbabwe Premier League right now. So very interesting. I'll put this on Gambakwe if you don't have it, if you don't have access, so that you can have a look and understand what's happening with our soccer matches in Zimbabwe. And then, as I said, Mohadi is in Indonesia. Today, the Indonesia Africa Summit is going to be starting. This summit is going to be important for Zimbabwe because of the movement towards high-speed rail. Zimbabwe is on the verge of waking up. And Mnangagwa, they were sleeping. Mnangagwa moves very slowly. The problem with Mnangagwa is that his projects are not planned. So Mnangagwa does not have a bigger picture of what he wants to do. He's got a small picture. Mnangagwa has got a small vision. So Mnangagwa is just finishing what Mugabe started, but he does not think about the bigger picture of how he can reshape Zimbabwe. This has resulted in him wasting massive amounts of time, wasting massive amounts of money, and his government has been running around like a headless chicken. So Mnangagwa's government is running around. They don't have time to sit down and plan, which is where I said you need an engineering corps in the army. You need a military planned city where, instead of focusing on press-ups, walking around and driving beer, drinking beer, then they must be sitting there, and you get about 10,000 people in that engineering corps, and restructure the whole country and put in place a 50-year strategy. I've said this for a very, very long time. Mnangagwa is very, very confused right now. He doesn't know what to do. If you ask Mnangagwa what is going to happen in the next 10 years in Zimbabwe, he's got no clue. I was looking at stories that came out this weekend about the Zimbabwean rail. The Zimbabwean rail has got a lot of land, and currently it's being used by street people, homeless people, and is being used for selling illegal substances. In those premises, they are not fenced off. They are a hive of criminal activities, and the guys at the NRZ are just sitting there watching everything deteriorate. There is no one who's thinking, how do you preserve these properties? I walked to the station at Harare, and it was a total mess. The buildings are not occupied, they're not rented out. These are prime properties right at the CBD of Harare. You can have a mall there right now, even if you're not running any trains. And there is a state of disrepair over there. Everything's a total mess. No idea and no innovation among the guys in the NRZ. And this is where I'm saying there's a need for a new approach. And this needs a reimagination. Mnangagwa cannot see it. And that is why I said that the next guy who's coming, if Chiwenga was to take this thing, if whoever was to take this thing, the next person who becomes president in Zimbabwe is going to easily change that country to become the most successful country you've ever seen. There is no country that is as easy to fix as Zimbabwe. They just need to think and look at what other countries are doing. Look at what Tanzania is doing. Look at what Zambia is doing. Look at what countries like Ghana, Senegal, they're doing. Those countries are doing extremely well. And Mnangagwa is not seeing that picture. And I feel sorry for him, because the next guy who becomes president is going to be so famous just for changing the planning. How do you change the country? Where do you see the country in 10 years' time? That is where you need to be. But Mnangagwa is thinking very short term, arresting people and keeping them in jail, and generally focusing on SADC and taking away the country's cohesion. There is no order right now in the country because of Mnangagwa's actions. Mnangagwa is a danger. Mnangagwa argura vanhu nenzara, and Mnangagwa is a danger to our country. I would like to then recap and bring this to an end. Then I'll be back here tonight as I give you more details on the plans for our country. Zimbabwe is extremely amazing. I always tell people that there is no country in the whole world that is geographically set up for success like Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is the only country where if you were to put a railway station at Gweru, you'll be able to get to every part in Zimbabwe in less than 2 hours. The country's got so much concentrated together. All your tourism destinations, all your cities, they are so close to each other. And yet you've got so much riches. Unlike other countries, if you were to take Zambia, if you want to go from one corner of Zambia to another, or Mozambique, it's impossible. Zimbabwe is set up such that you can easily move around very, very quickly. And if you do that, high-speed rail that I'm talking about, it will be very easy to do that. So Mnangagwa, they're starting to wake up to it. Let's see what they do with the thing. So let's recap. The builder of General Chiwenga as wife, Miniyothabo Fransica Baloyi Chiwenga, has spoken out during a court hearing on Friday. And she said that it's not true that she duped or tried to steal or failed to deliver on the 3 projects, which are worth over $1,200,000. She says, in fact, she has delivered on 3 other projects, and they were not running away. They were attending a conference in South Africa when they were caught at beitbridge. So there's no need to keep them in jail. They're applying for bail today. And let's see what happens. But as I said, I believe that there's a bigger picture. There is a bigger hand behind this whole thing. I don't believe that this is a simple matter of someone failing to build. I believe that there is a bigger thing that is going on over there in between Chiwenga and ZANU-PF. This is a bigger story that we'll eventually find more details about. And then I just want to look at the Chronicle newspaper. I'd forgotten one story here. There is a new planned city at Bubi, which is about 20 kilometers from Bulawayo, at Ngenyane. So you can go check out the Chronicle newspaper. They've got this story in there. And then obviously, my favorite newspaper, the H Metro newspaper, has got a love triangle story. A love triangle. There is this one woman that they have in the newspaper. So let me find this woman. She's very interesting. And apparently, she's called Noloanje Sachikonye. So they're leading with that story. I find it very interesting because Noloanje Sachikonye over there is being accused of being in love with, these are golfers. So they are Zimbabwean golfers. And Noloanje Sachikonye is being accused of being in love with her golfing partner, Marvelous Mukandi, after she divorced from her husband, George. And she says George is single, so she's got no problem dating George. And whenever they're playing soccer, people, golf, people are complaining that the two have got too much affection for each other, as they know as a married person. But she says that George has left her, and she doesn't have to hide the relationship from Marvelous. However, the girlfriend and baby mama of Marvelous, who is called Pamela, has told the newspaper that she has warned Noloanje to leave her boyfriend or baby's father, and she cannot believe what Noloanje is doing. It's a shame, and she doesn't understand what kind of a woman Noloanje is. However, Marvelous Mukandi says he is deeply in love with Noloanje. So you can go check out that story. It's a drama over there at H Metro newspaper. Very interesting story, because these are like prominent people in Harare from the golfing circle. So I do not know what is in the water of Harare and Bulawayo. So I think that is it for today. I've given you a roundup of all the stories, and let's see what transpires today. You know that there was the death of a general. So the death of this general is going to be something to watch. I think it's called Ndabambi, and he passed away last week. He's been declared a national hero. And the problem with this death is that this general just dropped. Like he was just about to go and leave his vegetables at the market. And that is Brigadier General Dingani Shadreck Ndabambi. So Brigadier General Ndabambi here is retired. He had a farm in Bindura. So he was just about to go and drop off his vegetables at the market. And he suddenly dropped and died. And this is one of the almost 50 to 60 generals who came from the coup era of Mugabe, who has died in mysterious circumstances. And so it's not clear if these guys are dropping because they're dropping, or they're dropping because someone is making them drop. And probably through an event, maybe poisoning that took place or something of that nature. So this is very strange. And let's see what happens with this when they're going to bury him. But it's clear that there is more at play in the National Army. So these are the key events that are going to take place this week. We're going to watch when Mnangagwa comes back, what happens. And also, as I said, Mnangagwa has not been received by the Chinese yet. Let's see how they receive him, if they're going to do what they did for President Hakainde Hicilema. So we're watching very, very closely the FOCAC summit in China. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I'll be back here tonight, 9:10 every day. We'll give you an update of the day. Thank you very much, and a good day to you all.